Well, I have made the video, so I won't bother, and it's been put up somewhere. I was going to show, for the ladies who don't know, probably none really, no, probably all of them, what a differential is and why my tricycle was so cheap. It was less than a year's insurance for me 1 litre car, and it'll be cheaper now because it's over 5 years since I wrote the other one off. What was I talking about? I've forgotten. The trike, yeah, I bought it for a laugh and it was cheap because it didn't have a differential. And there is I think there's possibly more than one Peugeot 107 differential in here somewhere. Actually, I probably could sniff it out myself because gearbox oil does smell revolting. And yeah, there is one in this. I think there is one in here somewhere. Or is it in the kitchen or in my bedroom? There is part of half the gears out of a Peugeot 107 gearbox round here somewhere. I just kicked it somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I've got to tidy up. If my muscles will take it, and before I leave, if I ever leave. You mean you never let me out of here? Well, I went out the other day because I was sick of the sight of all that, look. And I had to do some shopping, and I'd got an expensive lock for the back door. I thought, that's it, it's secure, but, and Yuki, don't tell me, Ozzy Osbourne or somebody who claims to be Ozzy Osbourne does own that company. Yeah, they nuked me. They got in. They've been in. So I've taken it off and to confuse them. And I literally had to drill my way back in because that's the only way of locking the doors. Put the locks on. Don't put a spindle in the handle so it just goes round and round, and then drill your way back in. If you're lucky, you can hit the screws after 3 or 4 goes, and if you drill slowly, people can't hear you. But yeah, I got in, was it yesterday, like that? Because it was the only way to go for a walk. I went for a long walk. I faked going to the station because there's a public footpath nearby. I went the wrong way because I didn't realise there was a fork in the path, and I'd never been that way recently. And I tripped over a tree branch, and I was forcing this branch to add, and I suddenly thought, the path's there to the right. Anyway, it was dark. And they didn't see me on the station because as the trains come in, they have to whistle. So I ducked down below the foliage and they never saw me. So whether somebody was on the station who looked like me, but all the drunks at the pub opposite would think I'd got on a train because one came in from the south and one came in from the north. And nobody saw me because I ducked down in the undergrowth because it is quite thick down there. So possibly a lot of people think I've left town, and no doubt all the drunks who were here the other night have left town. And what was I on about? I've forgotten. The Peugeot 107 diff. And the trike, yeah, well, it was a laugh, and it's harder to fall off a trike than a bike, because I was almost killed in a cycling accident years ago. And yeah, the only thing is, with it being cheap, it's hung up over there somewhere, the trike. Yeah, it's I found a use for the old stair rail, because I put a stainless steel one on. That one's painted white, and it goes brown every 6 weeks, and it's a pain having to wash it, and I haven't time. And you don't wash it, you have to sand it down and repaint it. And the trike, yeah, well, with it being cheap, the back forks are a bit thin, the steel's a bit thin, and they flex. And it feels like it's going to tip over. It's because the forks are flexing. I thought it was the rear axle. The rear axle's fine, it's just the forks. And they come up with it, the wheels are under that cardboard. Yeah, it's a bit untidy, but anyway. There's only me in there, and if it's my own fault if I fall over and break my neck. I only have one official visitor for the gas pilot. It's not working. I think they've rigged the whole. Somebody's broken in to every house because the left skeleton case. I think they rigged all the boilers so that they don't work to save gas because Putin controls the supply. And those are the back wheels of the trike. I was looking for them 26-inch tyres for a lightweight quadricycle I may be building because you can have more powerful motors on them. And yeah, they're good tyres, them, and those wheels. The whole system has been really well thought out. I wouldn't have thought of that, making one wheel free wheel around the axle so that you can have an axle with 2 wheels driven without a differential, because the gears have to be hard and they're expensive to make and heavy. Yeah, it's a good idea. Is that no doubt it wasn't thought. No, it isn't an English trike, but it's cheap and well thought out. And there's a basket of it. That's one of the reasons I got it. Yeah, you can put your shopping in that. You don't have to carry it and break your arms with it. The trouble is, if you buy too much food, they break in and nick it. Even though it's got good locks on the house, they get in and nick your food. And then you starve. Well, almost. because you can't go out because you don't feel like it because there's so many thugs about. Well, it's just not a nice experience anymore. I mean, my nana was like that in the 70s because she was born in 1896, and by the 70s she didn't like going out much.